You're listening to the Ship Less Traveled, where small ships make big impressions.
We're two travel agents with a big obsession for small ship cruising.
From the Arctic to the Amazon, from European rivers to remote islands, if you can reach it by small ship, we're all about it.
We're curious, candid, and not afraid to say it like it is. So grab your life jackets.
Because you're cruising on the Ship Less Traveled. Back again on the Ship Less Traveled. How you doing today, Lorraine?
I am so excited for this, Dave. I am raring to go.
Yeah, well, we got a new look here. I think it was somebody from England who said ch changes. I think that was David Bowie. So
It was, and we did it.
I think I might have been named after him. But anyway, so we've got some changes on the go today. We'd like to let people know what we're up to. Season two, I guess you could say, of the Ship Less Traveled is ready to set sail. And with that, we've got our new look here. We're fresh, we're lighter, we're conversational, and we're no holds barred. We're telling it like it is. Isn't that right, honey?
Yeah, that's the way we're headed.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been seeing it in your posts lately, and I was thinking about it this morning because I think I noticed on one of your posts, we've been doing this so long, folks. Lorraine and I are so old. We sailed on the
Hey, speak for
Titanic.
yourself. I'm young, 29.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, we have so much experience, folks. We're so old that we never started off to be content creators. We started off to be travel agents, but now travel agents have to be creating content, and that's what we're here doing with Ship Less Traveled. You posted that, so obviously those are some thoughts you've been having on your end.
Yeah, I actually heard someone else talking about it the other day. And I just thought, do you know what? That's so right. 30 years ago, I went into work in a travel agency and I sold holidays to people who walked in or called on the phone. Now it's all about, the internet, which is a great thing, but it's hard because we have to put that content out there all the time. And I just want to book cruises. But,
Right.
that's the way it's gone. So we've got to run with it, right? Things have
It's what she's
changed.
here to do, folks. She's here to sell a cruise. That's what she loves.
That's just book the cruise.
But 30 years ago, you want to book that cruise, at least here in Canada, you'd have to go down to the mall and the travel agency would be a store in the mall and you'd have to, make an appointment and see someone. Now you can just hop online, which of course is why we've got to create the content. But it also means for our viewers and for our cruise lovers, there is just so much content out there. So we know that we're competing with like 1,000 other podcasts and people looking for your attention. But we're candid and we love this and we do this full time. We've been doing some travels recently because part of the job and someone's got to do it. We've got to go on these cruises. We've got to have these experiences. Lorraine, what were you up
Dave,
to?
it's so hard. I don't know how you feel about that, but the
Well,
fact that we've got to go on these ships and experience this,
right. I should be filing my nails. Someone has to do it, darling. So I was in Dubai. You just have to go to Dubai, honey. I was there
you
for
never even
work.
told me you were doing this.
I didn't
I knew you
actually.
were going to Dubai, but you've never told me. I saw the pictures come up on your Facebook socials, and I was like,
Well, it kind of came to me last minute, but that is true, and our viewers might like to know that she did find out when I was standing dockside of this beautiful ship, saying, "Hey, I just want to let you know I've arrived in Dubai, and this is where I'm staying for 2 days." But most people didn't know or don't know that there is this floating hotel opportunity in Dubai. And I think it's great if you're stopping over for a day or two. It's not in the Jumeirah Marina area where a lot of people like to go. And so if you want to go to Dubai for a week or something or longer, I don't know if the QE2 is the best spot for that long, but for a night or two, it was fabulous. And so, yeah, the backdrop was inspired by kind of the 80s Nouveau Vague theme that I saw on that ship. I brought that into our backdrops. So, yeah, what have you been up to? You weren't on the QE2 in Dubai. You were doing something different.
yeah, well, as jealous as I am of your little QE2 venture there,
Mm.
I was on the Azamara pursuit down in the Mediterranean.
Well, that makes me jealous because I'm dying to go on Azamara, and if I'm not mistaken, this is your second Azamara.
Azamara. I went on the Azamara Onward back in 2022 around Croatia. And do you know, it was she was a beautiful ship.
Well, what do
And
you
they
love about
fastened,
Azamara? Like, obviously you booked it a second time around, so why do you go back to it?
yeah, I mean, my husband and I have always cruised on the larger ships. We've been on river cruises as well, but we kind of went on Celebrity Princess. I've been on Royal, we've been on a few, we've been on the Cunard. And we want to try something smaller. After COVID, I just kind of thought, oh, I just want peace in my life. I just want to cruise without the crowds. I want a smaller ship. I want genuine travel. I want to stay longer in ports and overnight in iconic ports. And I want to experience better food on these ships. I just wanted the whole immersive experience. And I know, Azamara, who I'll shout about all year long because they are fabulous,
Hmm.
they offer that immersive experience. That is what they're all about.
Yep.
So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to book it and see if I like this smaller ship experience. As I said, we've been on river cruises and they're like 150 odd people, and I was okay with that. I loved that. So 700 people, I thought, yeah, okay, I can do that. And I don't know where to start with these ships.
Well, let's talk about your cabin. Obviously, that's the first thing we can break down. What do you love about an Azamara cabin when you open that door?
So the first time we had a standard veranda, and it's just decorated so serenely and
Mm,
peaceful, and they're not large, but they're large enough for what you want. They've got a little sofa area and the bed and a small bathroom, and it's just everything you need. But the stateroom was kind of way down there on the list of things I loved. The whole Azamara experience, they just get it right, and we've been on two of these cruises now, two different ships, so it's definitely not jinx. This is how they are. Um, the staff are just phenomenal. They are, they love their jobs, and it shows. Do you know why? Because they actually get paid a salary. They don't work off tips,
hmm.
and it shows that they really love their jobs. They are genuine. These people are genuine, all from all over the world. The food, I can't even begin. My mouth starts watering when I talk about their food. The buffet, every night they have a different theme, and Indian, Spanish, American, Italian, different themed foods every night. So you can eat in the buffet every day if you want to. There's no one telling you you can't. But you have to try the specialty restaurants. This is where their food becomes amazing to fine dining.
Right.
The Aquilina Italian is
Bellissima.
superb. You
Yeah.
just feel like you're sitting in an Italian restaurant, which you are, of course, but you're on a ship. And they've got the steakhouse as well, which they cook that steak how you want it precisely. Um, but the food, and one night on the ship they have what they call white night, which is mine and my husband's favorite night because you get dressed in white. But that's not it. They clear the decks of all the deck chairs, they bring out the tables and chairs, they bring out the stage for the entertainment, they bring out the barbecue and all the tables for the food. And this is food from world over. I mean, I'm not just talking barbecue here, I'm talking barbecue, all the food. And it's phenomenal. And they have, dancing and singing for 2 hours straight, and it's fun. And the thing I love about Azamara, it's not snobby, and I don't do snobby. Like, they
Right.
are
We
not
are not
snobby.
pretentious people.
No, there's not pretentious people. Everybody's just on the ship to enjoy it, to enjoy the experience. And it's so much fun. Their entertainment is classy, but it's fun. And that's a really great thing. And of course, their ports, they dock in port. I mean, we were docked next to tiny ships, that no one else can dock in these places. These big ships, they go past most of the ports that Azamara dock at,
Oh,
because they
totally.
just cannot fit in. We were squeezed next to, a sailing ship, a club med ship, which if people don't know, they are really small ships. And we were there, we were there right where you need to be. We got off the ship and we walked. There was one tender day in the Med, and other days we got off and we walked those cities. And that's the
Wonderful.
whole experience.
Because then you can just get
You
right into it. You can just like you don't have to be bussed in from like I was just reading on a blog about some cruisers and this was in Hamburg and they had like it was a 10-kilometer drive and through just industrial areas that were not beautiful or significant. So that's not a real fun way to start your day in Hamburg.
No, you just
So
want to get off the ship and explore. There was no queues ever. I did not queue once from that ship. Not for anything, not to get on, not to get off, not for the food, not for the towels, not for the deck chairs. You know, there was just no queues ever for anything. It's just so uncrowded. It's so well spaced out, so many different public areas. Even when there's all of you on a ship, if you have a sea day, it's there's just no queues. There's
right.
no crowds, and that's what I love.
Totally. And again, you're going to find that on the small ships. But I think I'll circle back to one thing before we close up today. And that's, you talked about the atmosphere on the ship and that it's not snobby. And that makes me think about, QE2 and of course the Cunard brand. Obviously, Cunard sails and QE2 she's living in Dubai now. She's not moving about. But the thing is that that's a brand a lot of people think. And I think a lot of times the smaller brands or a more luxurious brand, people think it's snobby, and it's not. Like if you're looking for that, we can help you find a ship with that experience. But don't believe what you think. That's definitely something that can be demystified. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say that we specialize in the small ships, but Cunard are our honorary member because both of us, they are a magical cruise line
We live
and
for
they
it.
really have something special. So we have brought them in to the ship less traveled. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've sailed on the QM2, and I didn't find her snobby at all. I've also been on Queen Victoria, and it's just not snobby. They're very British, but they're not snobby. And as I've said before, I don't do snobby. I don't like anything about it. We are who we are. We're all born. We're all gonna die and buried in the same size coffins. And no one's better than anyone else. So they are not snobby, and
It's just class, I
they're
find.
classy. They're classy. Their entertainment is top notch. Their food's really good. Their cabins are lovely. Their ships are, it's just the age gone by. It's that, dream of how cruising used to be. And Cunard bring that out.
Oh,
There's no one that
absolutely.
competes with that. And I'm so
Absolutely.
jealous about the QE2 because that is what brought me into my cruising life 30 odd years ago. I always wanted to cruise on the QE2, and my colleague at the time got a free trip on the QE2 and she became the cruise specialist. And I wanted that. And that was the start of my whole cruise career that came a few years later.
Oh, I love that.
Um,
For
but I've been
me,
on the QM2.
It's just the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s, and when I
Yeah,
think back when you
yeah,
used to be able to take it across the Atlantic and fly back Concorde, like if I could time travel, that's something
yeah,
I would go back and I would
yeah.
want to do. Yeah,
I
on
think
both
that's a lot
ways.
of children's dreams, particularly for those who love travel and transport. And yeah, Concorde was my dream too. And I got to go on her in Heathrow on the ground on a trip. But
Right.
also, Concorde is one of them is held at the Brooklands Museum in Weybridge in Surrey. For those who don't know, and I went for a day trip there with a friend of mine, and we saw Concorde, and can actually go on her and have the whole tour and everything.
Oh,
Um,
I have to
you
add that
know,
one to my list because there's a museum in Shinsheim, Germany, the Technik Museum. If you're ever passing through, it's about an hour and a half south of Frankfurt, and they have an Air France Concorde that you can go and walk through. And they also have Tupolev Concordski, the Soviet edition of the Concorde. And it's a little bit more rough around the edges, I found. It's not as sleek and as chic as the
Oh,
Air France one.
yeah, British, yeah, Air France British Airways the same model. Um, yeah, it
It,
wasn't to be. I was too young. I was too young, and now I won't get the chance. But
We can't help you book a trip on the Concorde. We can't help you time travel, but we can help you do so many things. And if anything, just stay along with us, folks, because we're here to keep you inspired, keep you jazzed up, and excited about the world of small ship cruising. We don't just talk about this; we do these things. I am working with clients a little later today. They're looking at Azamara, going down to the Canary Islands. So we walk the walk and we talk the talk. Isn't that right?
we definitely do. As you said, we've been travel agents for many years now between us, and this is our full-time job. This is what we do. This is not a side hustle for us. This is our career, and we put in all our effort, all our training. We go on these ships. We're accredited travel agents, to book cruises. We're here for the long haul.
Absolutely. So if you're in North America, I'm based in Canada and I can connect with you. My name's Dave Wentworth. You can find me at destinationwhatever.com.
And I'm here in Berkshire, England, and my name's Lorraine McCowart at bespokecruiseholidays.co.uk.
All right, folks. Well, look, we're going to be back with more of our season two, The Ship Less Travel. We've got great ideas, more conversational in tone, so you can listen to us whenever it's convenient. But thank you so much for your loyalty and support, and we look forward to the next time. Bye for now,
Thanks,
everybody.
thanks
Take care.
everybody. Bye. That's it for today's voyage on the ship less traveled.
Stay connected, follow our Facebook group, and share the podcast with your cruise-loving friends.
For listeners in the UK, you can find me at bespokecruiseholidays.co.uk.
And for listeners on my side of the pond, I'm destinationwhatever.com.
We're passionate about small ship cruising, and we're not afraid to make some waves.
So join us next time on The Ship Less Traveled.